The emergency that breaks you won't announce itself. It'll arrive on a Tuesday, disguised as a phone call, a letter, a conversation that starts with "we need to talk," and the version of you that picks up that phone, the systems you've built, the people you can call, the money you can access, that version was decided months ago, maybe years. Today, you're going to see exactly what separates the people who survive a crisis from the people a crisis swallows whole. Most people think resilience means toughness, gritting your teeth and pushing through. That's endurance, and endurance has a shelf life. Resilience is architecture. It's the structure you build when the sky is clear, so the walls hold when the storm hits. And it starts with the most uncomfortable one first: money. A financial emergency without savings feels like drowning in 3 feet of water. You can see the surface, you know the solution is simple, and you still can't breathe. Research from the Federal Reserve found that roughly 40% of American adults couldn't cover an unexpected $400 expense without borrowing or selling something. $400. That's a car repair, a medical copay, a broken furnace in January. The distance between stability and crisis for nearly half the population is one bad Tuesday. So what does functional emergency resilience actually look like in a bank account? The standard advice says 3 to 6 months of expenses. Fine, but that number paralyzes people who are living paycheck to paycheck. A better starting target: $1,000. That single number covers most of the emergencies that send people into debt spirals. The tow truck, the urgent care visit, the landlord who won't wait. $1,000, sitting in a separate account you pretend doesn't exist, changes your relationship with uncertainty overnight. The trick is automation. You don't save what's left after spending, you spend what's left after saving. Even $20 a week, pulled automatically into a separate account on payday, builds to over $1,000 in a year. The amount matters less than the mechanism. Your willpower is a terrible savings plan. Systems that bypass willpower actually work. But money alone won't carry you through a real crisis. Here's why. Financial cushions buy you time. They don't buy you clarity. And in an emergency, the resource that depletes fastest is your ability to think straight. Stress literally narrows your field of vision. Under threat, your brain prioritizes immediate survival and discards long-term planning. Researchers at Princeton found that financial scarcity alone reduces cognitive performance by the equivalent of losing 13 IQ points. You get measurably worse at making decisions precisely when the decisions matter most. Your mind tunnels toward the loudest problem and ignores everything else. That's why people in crisis make choices that look irrational from the outside. They're operating with a smaller brain than they had last week. Mental resilience, then, isn't about being calm under pressure. It's about building habits during calm periods that become automatic during pressure. Think about the last time you were genuinely overwhelmed. Did you have a plan, or were you improvising? The difference between those two experiences is preparation, and preparation has a specific shape. One method that holds up across both clinical and military research: decision reduction. Before a crisis hits, you write down your first 3 moves for the most likely emergencies: job loss, medical emergency, relationship collapse, car accident. You write the moves when your brain is functioning at full capacity, so that future you, the one operating on no sleep and raw adrenaline, can follow instructions instead of inventing a strategy from scratch. Fighter pilots call these boldface procedures. The actions you memorize so thoroughly that you execute them before the fear fully registers. Your version might be simpler. If I lose my job, I call Sarah, file for unemployment within 24 hours, and cut all subscriptions. Written down. Accessible. Already decided. The second piece is smaller and easier to dismiss, which is exactly why most people skip it. Recovery rituals. When a crisis drags on for weeks, a sick parent, a legal battle, a slow financial bleed, the people who last aren't the ones who push hardest. They're the ones who know how to put the emergency down for 20 minutes. A walk, a meal eaten at a table instead of standing over the sink. 8 minutes of silence. These aren't luxuries, they're maintenance on the only machine that can solve your problem: your mind. Still, even the sharpest mind struggles alone. And this is where resilience gets honest about something uncomfortable. You've watched someone go through a crisis with a deep bench of people around them. Friends who show up with food, family who move logistics, a neighbor who watches the kids without being asked. You've also watched someone go through a crisis alone, sending texts that don't get answered, Googling free legal advice at midnight. The difference in outcome between those two people has almost nothing to do with character. It has almost everything to do with social infrastructure. Robert Putnam's research on social capital showed something striking. Communities with strong social ties recover faster from natural disasters, economic downturns, and health crises than wealthier communities with weaker connections. The money helps, the people help more. Your network is an insurance policy that no financial product can replicate. But social resilience has a catch. You can't build it during the emergency. Trying to deepen friendships when you're in crisis feels desperate, because it is. The time to invest is now, when you have nothing to ask for. The deposits come first, the withdrawals come later. Every text you send checking in on someone, every favor you do without keeping score, every hour you spend being present in someone else's life, that's not kindness. Actually, no, it is kindness, and it's also infrastructure. Both things at once. Here's where people push back. I'm an introvert. I don't have time. My friends are all online. Fair. Social resilience doesn't require 20 close friends. Research by Robin Dunbar suggests most people maintain about 5 intimate relationships at any given time. 5. You can audit that number right now. Think of the people you'd call at 2 in the morning if something went truly wrong. If that list has 3 names on it, you're better resourced than most. If it has 0, that's the most important thing you can build this year. More important than savings. More important than a meditation habit. Because when the emergency comes, and some version of it will, the first 48 hours determine the trajectory. Those hours run on 3 fuels: cash to stop the immediate bleeding, mental clarity to make the second and third decisions correctly. And someone, even one person, who picks up the phone and says, "What do you need?" A caveat worth sitting with. Some emergencies genuinely exceed what individual preparation can handle. Chronic illness in a country with broken healthcare. Job loss in a town where the only employer just shut down. Systemic barriers don't dissolve because you automated your savings. Resilience isn't a guarantee. It's a probability shift. You're moving the odds in your favor. And for the crises that fall within the range of what one person can influence, the difference between prepared and unprepared is enormous. For the rest, resilience means knowing when to ask for help from systems bigger than yourself, community organizations, government programs, legal aid. Asking isn't weakness. Refusing to ask when you're drowning is just pride wearing a mask. So here's what this looks like as a practical blueprint. This month, open a separate savings account and automate a small weekly transfer. Any amount, the ritual, matters more than the number. This week, write your boldface procedures for 2 likely emergencies: job loss and a medical event are good starting points. 3 steps each. Put them where you can find them under stress. Today, send one message to someone you haven't talked to in a while. Genuine. Brief. No agenda. Thinking of you. Hope you're doing well. That's a brick in a wall you might need to lean against someday. Resilience isn't a personality trait some people are born with, and others aren't. It's a set of boring, unglamorous systems that feel pointless right up until the moment they save your life. The emergency fund you'll never think about until the phone call comes. The friend you kept close for no strategic reason at all, who answers on the first ring. The best time to build all of this was 5 years ago. The second best time is this afternoon. And the version of you 6 months from now, standing in some storm you can't yet picture, will either reach for a structure you build or reach into empty air. That choice lives in what you do this week.